The old man lived alone, beside a small creek deep in the woods. Every morning before sunrise, he would sit quietly on the same worn-out log and watch the water move through the rocks. People in the nearby town thought he was strange, because while everybody else spent their lives rushing, the old man never seemed in a hurry, and yet somehow he always seemed peaceful. One morning, a young man found his way down to the creek. He looked exhausted, not physically, mentally, like somebody carrying years of pressure without ever putting it down. The young man sat beside the old man, and after a long silence, he finally asked, "How do I become successful?" The old man didn't answer right away. He just kept staring at the creek, listening to the water, watching the sunrise slowly break through the trees. Finally, he pointed at the creek and asked, "What do you see?" The young man shrugged. "Water." The old man smiled slightly. "That's all most people see." He leaned forward and pointed toward the current, moving around the rocks. The creek never stops because something gets in its way. It adjusts. The water doesn't waste time complaining about the rock. It keeps moving. The young man listened quietly. The old man continued. Most people fail because they spend their whole life focusing on the obstacles. The successful people focus on finding a path forward. The young man looked down at the water. The current was calm in some places, rough in others, but it never stopped moving. The old man picked up a small rock and tossed it into the creek. Ripples spread across the water. "See that?" he asked. "Even something small creates movement." A lot of people think they need one giant moment to change their life. But success is usually small decisions repeated over and over. Getting up earlier, trying again, staying disciplined when nobody's watching, continuing forward when quitting would feel easier. Small actions, big results over time. The young man sat quietly for a while. Then he asked, "But what if I fail?" The old man laughed softly. "You will." The young man looked surprised. The old man smiled. "You'll fail many times. You'll doubt yourself. People will overlook you. Some people will tell you your dreams are unrealistic. And there will be mornings where you question whether it's even worth continuing." The old man looked back toward the sunrise. But the creek doesn't stop flowing because the storm came yesterday. And neither should you. The woods had become brighter now. Birds chirped somewhere high in the trees. The sunlight reflected across the moving water. And for the first time, in a long time, the young man felt calm. The old man stood up slowly and brushed the dirt from his hands. Before walking away, he turned back and said one final thing. Most people want the reward, but very few fall in love with the process. The people who become great at something learn to keep showing up, even on the days they don't feel motivated. Then he pointed one last time toward the creek. This water reaches the ocean, not because it's the strongest thing in the forest, but because it never quits moving forward. The young man sat there alone beside the creek, long after the old man left, watching the water move over every rock in its path, slowly realizing maybe success wasn't about becoming somebody different after all. Maybe it was about continuing forward one day at a time, even when life gets hard. And maybe that quiet kind of persistence is what changes a person's life in the end.